Looking back, I wasn't really afraid of the woods that stood a short ways from my childhood home. I remember my family used to go play and explore them at all time, having a little panic attacks in the summer, making piles of leaves to jump in the fall. There was even a little pond that I could ice skate then over the winter months. Yeah, me and my brother and sister used to love that old pond. The woods did have a much fair share of inhabitants, obviously, such as birds, squirrels, rabbits. We even saw a raccoon once. Nothing scary like a wolf or a bear, at least not that we seen. I used to joke with kids about school about howling at night, or once saying about a bear attacked my mom's car when she couldn't drop me off one day. She just had to take a smog just to check the truth be told. Now still, why it passed up to be a revealing tale to tell my friends and classmates about? They always used to love them. If only that's what this story has. I remember it was an autumn night, and there was a full moon out as well. My parents had gone to play with to a play my sister was in. I was sick and was glad to stay home. It was just I had some movies to watch on Netflix. Tonight was extra special because one of my favorite films had happened to be added on there. I was so excited and called for some popcorn and soda. So I tossed in a bag in a microwave and then got some Dr. Pepper out of the fridge. Yet, I still put a bowl from the Tupperware pantry, which was right next to the kitchen sink at the window, and looked out. I saw it. A deer. Its fur was illuminated by the moonlight. Like I said before, I was used to only seeing small creatures in the woods. This was a surprise to say the least. I rushed back into the living room to get my cell phone. This was cooler than getting a photo of a rainbow. I was so relieved when I saw it was still outside. Yes, I thought happily, as I got my camera up. Although I was so overjoyed, I saw it actually making its way towards the house. This was just good for a picture. I quickly changed it to a video record. All my classmates would love this. Yet as I got closer, the light from the moon illuminated better, and I realized it was no mere Bambi I was looking at. Its fur was pale white, not just because of the moon, but I mean white as snow. It looked like it had been snapped off, where there were both stains of blood. Now I could make out its face. I was so frozen in fear that I wanted to gag while looking out of the window as it looked at me now. The deer had no face, no fur, almost skin, besides a black nose and eyes. I thought it was someone who'd taken a knife to this animal and ripped his skin cleaned off, but the grotesque buck looked at me a mere inches away from my face window, gazing at me. The few seconds our eye locked into another that felt like hours. I was too afraid to look away, paralyzed in fear to call my parents on the phone. When it opened its mouth, by utter shock it spoke, some dark, otherworldly voice. "You're not the one." And then it left. As it turned and rocked around, I saw it had a bullet wound on its side. When my parents came home, I tried to tell them about what I showed them on my phone. Yet the video played only showed some woods outside in the moonlight, none of the deer at all. They played it off of me as wanting to watch too many scary movies. I didn't even bother telling any of the kids at school about this horrifying buck that had visited me that night. Although one of my classmates told had a story to tell about how this dad was out hunting and bagged a rare white deer. And that, my little pretties, was I saw there's a deer outside my window. A creepypasta written by Lycans. Lycans are God's gift to furries. Lycans, thank you so much for the story. This was awesome. Thank you so much for writing this story. So, my final thoughts on this story? I could definitely say it's actually a really well made creepypasta. Like, I could definitely say that this story actually had a really good concept. It really had a good concept going for, and that is very, very good. Like, could see that this story had a good potential and concept. Like, the fact that, somebody saw something freaky, which was a deer that looked like he looked like he'd been well hunted, but except he's like an undead zombie deer. Holy crap, that was actually pretty something. Like, this is actually a pretty good pasta. Like, the thing about it is this, that this story actually had some believability, which I have a feeling and a theory that it could be maybe something paranormal that this guy, saw, about the deer becoming a zombie. Now, that is just a theory, though, because I had a theory that maybe this was something to do with paranormal. I could be wrong, however, so you guys can, let me now know what your thoughts are on the comments section, because, I would like to hear your thoughts on this story. Now, I actually have to say this story was actually pretty good for what it was. It's a pretty good story, had a really good concept, had really good going for. I actually found this story to be rather enjoyable. Now, I could definitely say that the grammar was pretty decent, well done, although this was made back in 2016, so yeah. There are a few things that I could say that does need a little bit of an improvement. Now, for one, the grammar is alright for the most part, but it's not really perfect. Like, one thing I could definitely say was that there were a couple of run-on sentences, so that was kind of why I had a bit of trouble reading the story, but yeah, with that being a case, along with, there was places in this that should have had periods, places that should have had commas, or they were not there, or they were just completely all over the place. So that kind of made the story a bit hard to read. But of course, with that being the case, what the author could suggest doing is put it through Google Docs, so then Google Docs can easily, help fix these issues fix the grammatical and punctuation errors, because I do know they can help with the punctuation errors and all that. So yeah, there were a few punctuation errors in the story that does need to be, revised, and the grammar needs to be revised just a bit, but other than that, I actually found this story to be rather enjoyable. Now, when I first saw this story, I was like, oh my god, this story was actually pretty good, so I could definitely say that it was pretty well made for what this story was. Now, I could definitely, see, when we see, anything like paranormal and that. I have a feeling this is something to do with the paranormal. I could be wrong, however, on that note, but you guys can, basically, explain, you could guys just tell me what your thoughts are on this. Like, what I thought that this story was actually pretty well made for what it was, for what was the case. Now, I could definitely say that there's maybe some paranormal involved in it, that maybe that's caused the deer to appear when in front of this person's eyes, but when he was trying to show it to his parents, the deer was not there. I have a feeling he was seeing some paranormal things. That could be, that's just what I think. But, if you guys have, other theories as to why this deer did not appear or something, like, if you agree with my theory, just let me know in the comments below, because I would like to hear, your thoughts are on the, opinions on, this movie. So I'm definitely going to say it's a pretty good creepypasta. So with that being the case, and with that being said, with other than, the grammatical errors, like, there was a few of them, along with a few punctuation errors, the story was actually pretty well done. Even though it's an old story from 2016, it's still a pretty good story for what it is. So, with that being the case, and with that being said, I'm going to say this right now, that this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that is fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. Now, my final rating of the story, it gets a 10 out of 10. Well, scratch that. I'll give this one a 9 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving this a 9 out of 10 was because there were a few punctuation errors and grammatical errors in the story, so I had a little bit of trouble reading it. But other than that, with those issues, I just really like the movie. This concept. So, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what have you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me now with your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be catching you all in the next video, so peace out everyone. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.